Alright, so the equation of a line can be written in two forms. Either you can write it in point slope form or in standard form. So what we need to know is, we need to imagine if we have a line in the xy orthonormal system. So this is an xy orthonormal system, this is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. And let's say you have a line AB. Now, you know from previous chapters that A has something that you call coordinates. So it has an x and it has a y. And B also has an x of B and it has a y of B. So this line over here is non-ending. So if you want to find the equation of line AB, we can find it in either point slope form or in standard form. So first let's start explaining what a point slope form is. So in point slope form, you need to have y equal to mx plus b, where m is the slope. So this is the slope, and b is what we call the y-intercept. Right? So the word y-intercept means where the line cuts the y-axis. So over here, this is the y-intercept. This is the small b. Right? So let's take an example. Let's say I want to find the equation of the line that passes through two given points. Let's say the point A of coordinates 1 and 3 and point B of coordinates -5 and 6. Alright? So we need to follow three simple steps. The first step is I need to say, okay, do I have the slope? No. Do I have the y-intercept? No. So I need to find both of them. So step one, we say y equal to mx plus b, and I say myself, I need to find m and I need to find b. So in step two, we need to find m. Since m is not given and it passes through two known points, we need to use the slope formula. The slope formula is very simple. We say, okay, it passes through a and b. This means I need to do y of b minus y of a over x of b minus x of a. So that's the general formula. Y of b minus y of a over x of b minus x of a. And this is the slope formula. Slope formula. Alright, so let's find it. We know that a is 1, 3 and b is -5, 6. So a is 1, 3 and b is -5, 6. So the slope will simply be y of b minus y of a over x of b, which is -5, minus x of a, which is simply 1. So we'll have 6 minus 3, which is 3, over -5 minus -1, which is -6. And of course I can simplify this to get -1/2. So now that I have the slope, I can simply replace it and say that up until now the equation looks something like this. Y equal -1/2 x plus b, because this is the slope that I just found. So in step 3, all I need to do is I need to find b. And since b is the y-intercept, so b is the y-intercept, but the y-intercept is where the line cuts the y-axis. And whenever the line cuts the y-axis, x becomes 0. So x becomes non-significant, which is 0. So I go on to the equation that I just found over here, and you set x equal to 0. So to find the y-intercept, I set x equal to 0. So we go on and set x equal to 0. We get y equal to -1/2 0 plus b. This is the concept in general, but we can't do that here. So what we do is we replace. I'm going to teach you how you use that in a bit. So you replace x and y by the coordinates of a point that passes through the line. Now I know for a fact that up till now y equal to negative half x plus b. And which point passes through the line? You have a and you have b. Let's say I want to replace x and y by the coordinates of a. So this will become y of a, which is 3, equal to negative half x of a, which is 1, plus b, which is 3 equal to negative half times 1, which is negative half, plus b. We move the negative half here. We're going to have b equal to 3 plus half. And 3 plus half is 3.5. So we get b equal to 3.5. Now that I have the slope and b, we can simply say, okay, so the equation will be y equal to negative half x plus 3.5. And this is the equation of the line. Alright, so let's take another example and do it more quickly. So example 2, we need to find the equation of the line that passes through let's say point S of coordinates 0, 2 and point T of coordinates negative 1 and 3. Alright, so as usual, first step, we say y equal to mx plus b. I need to find m and I need to find b. Step 2, we say I need to find m. Do we have m? Did I give you the slope? Of course not. So I need to use the point slope formula, which is m equal to y of t minus y of s. Doesn't matter which order you go through, but you have to keep the order in the x's as well. Which means if you do y of t minus y of s, you have to do x of t minus x of s. And if you do y of s minus y of t, you have to do x of s minus x of t. And you just replace. So y of t minus y of s over x of t minus x of s, which will give you 1 over negative 1, which is simply negative 1. So now we have m, which means the equation will look like this. Y equal to negative 1x plus b. To find b, we replace y and x by the coordinates of a point that passes through the line, either s or t. So I'm going to replace it by s, so it becomes y of s is negative 1 x of s plus b. So y of s, which is 3, equal to negative 1 x of s, which is 0, plus b, which will give us 3 equal to 0 plus b, so b is simply 3. So now that I have m and I have b, I simply replace and say that the whole formula is y equal to negative 1x plus 3. And you know that negative 1x is nothing but simply negative x plus 3, and this is the total equation. Right? Now, sometimes in our third example, stuff will be a bit easier because they can simply give you the slope. So I can tell you, find the equation of the line that passes through, let's say, a point E of coordinates 1 and 5, and having a slope of, let's say, 1/4. So since I know that, my first step is to say that y equal mx plus b, and then tell myself that I need to find m and I need to find b. So the second step, I need to find m. Is m given? Yes, of course. Since m is given, so we say that m is equal to 1 over 4. There's nothing to do here. And I say that the equation now looks like this. Y equal 1 over 4x plus b. So in my third step, I need to find b. To find that, as we said, we need to replace y and x by the coordinates of a point that passed through the line, which is in this case E. So y of E, which is 5, equal to 1 over 4 x of e, which is 1 plus b. 1 over 4 times 1 is simply 1 over 4. And to find b, I need to move this 1 over 4 to this side, so it becomes negative. So b is equal to 5 minus 1 over 4, which is 4.75. So now that I have b, I say that the total equation is now y equal to 1 over 4x plus 4.75. Alright, so this is simple. Right, last thing for the first lesson is to say, well, let's say you have y equal to half x plus 6, and I told you find the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, we said we need to set x equal to 0. So we set x equal to 0 in the equation. We'll have y equal to half into 0 plus 6. So y equal half times 0, which is 0, plus 6, which is 6. So the y-intercept is 6. I need to put it in coordinates form, since I know that x is set to 0, so this is 0, and the y is 6. So the y-intercept is 0, 6. So this is concerning the first lesson.